How sustainable is my company or organization? Are we leading the pack or are we lagging behind? You might have a good gut feeling about this, but I want to find out exactly how a company is performing, and today I will show you a method on how to do this. Hello, my name is Anne and I want to share my knowledge in sustainability so that you can make your company more sustainable. This includes techniques, tactics and tools and how to mobilize your organization. Finding out how your company compares to competitors is great for the strategy process. I use this already in the first step of setting up a sustainability strategy, the step that I call inventory. Then I add to it along my way. More to that later. If you want to find out more about the 8 steps on how to set up a successful sustainability strategy, I will link you the video below and somewhere on the screen. But now back to our benchmarking. First, I pick some indicators which I assume will be relevant for the company's sustainability performance. These indicators should come from all 3 pillars of sustainability: people, profit and planet, as well as the governance topic or business setup. I will give you a few non-exhaustive examples for each of the categories. People, of course, stands for social topics. So here you can collect data to health and safety topics or diversity and inclusion topics. Health and safety could be accident rates or health programs that you are doing. Diversity could be things like percentage of women in higher management, for example. Profit, of course, stands for your business activities. Here you can collect indicators to revenue generated from more sustainable products or for investments that you did in more sustainable technology or in production. Planet then stands for all the environmental topics. That could be carbon footprint, water print, it could be also topics about biodiversity. And then governance could be topics related to compliance issues or to whistleblower programs, as well as the general setup of your sustainability department. Of course, the indicators vary for each business or organization. So as long as you start with anything that seems relevant for you, you can always add along the way or even eliminate things that don't seem relevant anymore. By the way, this process not only works for businesses, it also works for other organizations. But now to the next step of the benchmarking. You need to decide which companies you want to compare to, and I would suggest to include several people from your company. At least you should include higher management, because you need their buy-in. I would opt for rather selecting more competitors, because on your way you will notice that data is not available for all the indicators for all of the competitors. So at least you should have a good basis for comparison. And then it's time to research about data to your indicators. Data sources here could be the sustainability reports of your competitors. It could be simply on the internet, it could be business reports, and you can also ask your competitors. There's nothing wrong with asking. On a few exceptions you might need to guess, but please make sure that you note your data sources and that you know which data is more reliable than other. As soon as you have all the data available, it makes sense to think about how to draft it. And I will show you how I do this. Let's use the example of the carbon footprint. You might have your competitors' data available from their sustainability reports, and you also might have your own data available. In case you don't know how to calculate your carbon footprint, I will for sure make another video on that, so make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so that you don't miss that. Let's come back to the benchmarking. Let's assume you know your carbon footprint, and let's assume you got the carbon footprints of at least a few competitors. Now you have to still normalize those. Normalizing makes it easier to compare the footprints. For producing companies, it makes sense to normalize the carbon footprints in kilogram per tons produced or per ton sold. Make sure you have the same unit for each of the competitors. And now let's assume you've got that data. And your company footprint lies at 35 kilograms per tons produced, whereas competitor A has 30 kilograms, competitor B has 38, and competitor C has 25 kilograms per ton produced. You might have even found the industry average, which is at 32 kilograms per ton produced. Then you can start to draft it. And I like to draft it in a graph where the upper end is the top performance. In that case, it would reduce the CO2 footprint to 0 kilograms per ton produced. And on the lower end is the worst performing company. And then I would put in all the different numbers of the companies, and you can clearly see that for your company you have some potential for improvement. Other indicators might have different options. So for example, you could have an indicator which is about certifications for your company. Let's say it's about EMAS certification, an environmental standard. So you could answer this question either with a yes or a no, or it could be in progress. And then you can simply see where each company stands, and you can see where you range. So now how would you use this benchmarking? This benchmarking is not intended for publishing anywhere. It is clearly to be used internally. In my opinion, it mainly serves three purposes. The first one is to engage decision makers. If they can see how their company is performing against the others, they might be more willing to change things. The next purpose could be to communicate internally about where you stand. And then the third one, well, it's all about competition. It helps a lot if you want to engage people and to do things. People want to catch up. They want to be the leaders, and it helps to show them how much it takes to reach the leading position. While continuing to set up your sustainability strategy, you can always update the benchmarking. There might be some additional indicators coming in as soon as you determined your most important topics for the company, and others might not be relevant anymore. So please keep it in mind and do these steps all along the way. And there's also the possibility to use it as a target benchmarking, which I will explain in a minute. But first, please, if you got something out of this video, please subscribe to it and let others know about it. My goal is to reach as many companies as possible and to change as much in the direction of sustainable development as possible. So please support me in this, and also if you like the video, please like it. Similar to the performance of companies, you can also draft their targets. And the targets you usually find in the sustainability reports. For example, it could be carbon reduction targets. And if you draft those targets for each of the companies, you can also see where those companies stand, and you can see whether it's feasible for you to have the most ambitious targets. So this helps a lot if you want to develop your strategy and set the right priorities. You can use this then as a basis when you're discussing the targets in the company. But please don't be shy on targets. Let's accelerate sustainable development together, step by step.